Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Well, it is the 1st of July as I'm filming this, so the third Great Big Little Stitchery swap has just come to an end. Oh, excuse me, I've had this awful virusy thing for a week or so. Feeling a bit rough around the edges, but I'm getting there. Anyway, so I sat out the swap this time, having thoroughly enjoyed the first two swaps, and I've been just enjoying it from the sidelines, seeing the most amazing collection of beautiful work being exchanged all over the world. So if you don't know what the Great Big Little Stitchery swap is all about, it was an idea that was born here in my craft room, just a little idea that I threw out there thinking maybe I'd find half a dozen people who'd like to swap a little 4-inch or 10cm square of Stitchery with me, and it just went absolutely nuts. It grew wings and took on a life of its own and carried on flying without me, which is brilliant. And it's just been such a lovely positive experience, a great way to celebrate the online friendships that have grown up around this slow stitching that we all love so much. So the little squares of Stitchery can be, initially it was all just slow stitching, hand stitching, but this time we said machine stitching goes as well. Any kind of stitching is fine as long as you can fit it onto your 10cm or 4-inch square, that's fine. And the idea is that you connect with people via our Facebook group or Discord community and find your swapsters, and you can choose to just swap one square, or I did 45 I think it was for the first swap. Never do that many again, but it was so much fun. It was an absolute joy, the whole experience, and it's been really fun just watching from the sidelines as well, actually, although I have found myself really feeling left out a couple of times, and I'm quite looking forward to joining in with the next one. More about that in a minute. I've lost my thread now, hang on, where have I got to? So yeah, you can make as many or as few as you like, and you can choose just to swap within your own country, or just swap with people you know, or connect with kindred spirits all over the world via the groups. Arrange between, you just private message each other and swap your addresses. It started on the 1st of April, and the deadline was yesterday, the 30th of June, to get your squares made and sent out to your swapsters, your recipients. Some people were really hot off the mark and were all ready to post their swaps out on the first day. Some people, more like me, don't even start stitching until the swap begins, and because you've got 3 whole months to get it done and get them sent off. So the next swap, before I forget to say, the next swap will be starting on the 1st of October, and the deadline for that one will be the 31st of December. Please don't start going into the group and looking for swaps now, because it will confuse things. Let's let this first one settle and then and watch this space. There will be announcements here on my YouTube channel and in the Facebook group and in our Discord community to give you a fair warning before the next swap starts, so you'll have plenty of time to look for swapsters then. Please don't do it now, because it confuses people. It will get muddled up with the swap that's already going on. So we just need a little bit of a hiatus in between, and then we'll be all set to go again. And I'm really looking forward to joining in again this time. And I've also got a little bit of a different idea to put a little bit of a different spin on it. We always have an optional theme. It was lovely this time, it was windows, and it was lovely to see some of the different takes on windows, all kinds of different ideas, and I was, that was all of the things that made me think, oh, I kind of wish I'd done this swap, but I had so many other things I wanted to do. This time there will be an optional theme. There's another little optional twist you could put on it if you like, but watch this space. I'm not going to tell you that just yet. I'll keep you in suspense for a bit. And but I will give you fair warning, so because a lot of people like me, you like to get your cogs turning in plenty of time before the swap starts, so don't worry, I will give you plenty of warning. The other reason I dropped out this time is because I wanted to spend the time putting the swaps that I'd already got into books, and I knew I would need at least 2 books, probably 3. Well, I've only got as far as 1, but that is nearly finished. I'll give you a little peek at that in a minute. The other reason I wanted to come on today is partly to say, swaps all done and dusted. Hope you all had a lovely time. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did during the first 2 swaps. One thing I've been a bit disappointed with, well, disappointed is a bit of a strong word, is that I've seen so much beautiful work going through the Facebook group and the Discord community, but not very many people have sent pictures of their swaps to me to go in the gallery. Now, I've put out lots and lots of reminders. I mentioned it in my first video. It's in all of the posts that I've put out with the swap guidelines, which are pinned to the top of the Facebook page and Discord groups, and lots of the moderators and admin in the Facebook group have reminded people as well, so I don't know what else I can do. So the idea with the galleries is, the galleries aren't, I'm not talking about a gallery within the Facebook group or the Discord community. This is a separate website. I created one for each of the first two swaps. It's an online gallery, so people can go, you can all go on there. They're arranged into countries where the squares were made, and all the squares are featured there. I'll show you in a minute, I'll give you a little peek in a minute. And they all show the name of the person who made them. You can choose whatever name you like. You don't have to put your full name, you can just put your first name there. You can use a nickname, whatever you like. You can also have a link to, if you've got a YouTube channel or Etsy shop or Instagram or whatever, I can link to that as well. Only one link to each square, it won't allow me to do anymore. So for each of them you can see who made them and which country they're in. And it's just lovely to see them all together. It's inspiring. It's a good place to go for inspiration for the next swap, to get some ideas of what you might like to do. And it's just the most, I mean, next best thing to actually being able to go into a huge exhibition space and have all of the squares up on the wall. That's what I wanted it to feel like. But I feel a bit sad that I've only had, I think it amounts to about 200 sent through to me. What I asked people to do this time, the first time I trawled through Facebook and Instagram and stuff and found them all, but it took me long days and days to do that. I asked people to hashtag, but sometimes people don't remember to hashtag, or they don't type the hashtag properly, or the hashtags just don't work for whatever reason, so it was just too difficult. So this time what I asked people to do was actually send them to me, and I provided an email address. I'm going to put that email address in the description box of this video because it's not too late. You can still send me photos of your squares. So what you need, if you would like your squares included, the squares that you made, not the ones you received, the squares that you made, you need to send me photos. Take the best photo you can. Please just include one square in each photo. You can send lots of photos in each email, but just one square. Don't send me a whole set. People sent me like a photo with 12 squares all shown in the same photo. It's probably really quick for you, but it's not for me. And then I had to crop it 12 times, and sometimes they're crooked as well. What I need is a photo of just the square, the whole square, nothing but the square, as straight on as possible. Get your head right over it, because if you do it at an angle like this, the square comes out this shape. Best natural light you can. I'm aware that by now, for this swap just gone, you will have already sent your squares off, and this will be too late. But if you're going to join in next time, please remember this. Take your picture before you send your squares out. Take the best picture you can. You have spent hours making this square. It deserves a good picture. So get good natural diffuse light if you can. That's the best thing. Electric light in the evening really doesn't do it any favours. I tend to go up my conservatory or the bathroom because I've got more window. I've got light coming from two directions in those rooms. So that works for me. Sometimes out in the garden works. You don't want a bright shaft of sunlight across it, but you don't want it in, semi-darkness either. So just get the best natural light you can. I can brighten it up a little bit, but I can't work miracles. And although it's nice to show, when we all take pictures of the swaps that we've had in, if people have sent little extra bits or put a card in, most people put them inside a card. We take a picture with a card, and that looks lovely to put in your Facebook post. But for the gallery, we just need the square, the whole square, nothing but the square. So all I need is those photos. I need to know what name you want displayed in a gallery, whether it's your first and last name or just a nickname or whatever you choose to use. If you've got a link to Instagram or whatever, let me have that as well and I can add it, and which country you're in. That's all I need to know. If you prefer not to say which country you're in, that's fine. I'll just put you in the anonymous gallery. So yeah, it's not too late. I can always add to the gallery even when it goes live. It won't go live to the end of this month because I wanted to avoid spoilers, because as the cut-off date for posting was only yesterday, some people might not receive their squares, especially if you're sending overseas for 2 or 3 weeks or even longer sometimes. So I thought I'll leave it till the end of July before the gallery goes live. So you've still got time, and even after it's gone live, I can still pop back in and add them. So if you see this later on and think, oh, I did take pictures of my squares, but I forgot to send them to Annie, it's not too late. Send them now. Tell me which swap it was for. I will add them into the gallery. What I will do is I'll put a link to the 2 previous galleries, so the first swap and the second swap galleries. I'll put links to them below. I'll put my link tree as well, so you can find your way to the Facebook group and the Discord community. And my email is also in the link tree, so click on my link tree and you'll find all the links you need, and that will be in the description box below. Let's have a quick look at the galleries a minute. So here's the first Stitchery swap gallery. So you can see there's different little squares here for each country. So we've got UK, Canada, USA, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, rest of the world, and country unspecified because some people didn't let me know. So I just popped them all in there. So if you click on one of these, if I click on UK, it takes a minute to load up. There's a lot of pictures in here. And you can see there's a whole lot of beautiful, beautiful squares here, along with the name of the person who made them. So this is Snoppy in our Discord community. She's also called Karen, so she's called Snoppy Karen here. Yeah, so you can see some people were very, very prolific, including me. There's all mine. And Tori's a good example where if you click on Tori, onto one of the Tori squares, it will go to Tori's YouTube channel, which is called Kooky Creatures. Most of you probably know. So that's kind of it. That's what I've got in mind, is for it to look like a gallery like this, so you can see why you need just the square in the picture, and you need it to be as straight on as possible and as nicely lit as you can possibly manage. I know it's difficult, but just do the best you can. Don't take it at night at a funny angle on your lap with the cat sat half over it, kind of thing, you know. This was the second Stitchery swap. Let's have a look at Australia this time. Aussie, Christine, Kathy. I know all these names. Not so many for Australia last time, but it might be that there were lots I didn't pick up, you see, and it's such a shame. So you can see how lovely it is to see everybody's pieces. If I go up here, let's look at USA. How lovely it is to see everybody's work all together like this, and how inspiring. And what a shame to not manage to not include all the beautiful work that I've seen going through the Facebook group and the Discord community, because I haven't got the pictures. Well, I was going to give you a quick look at my my first volume, in case you haven't seen it. Well, I have shown the beginning up. I hadn't finished it last time. It's not quite finished now, but we're nearly there. Here's the cover of my fabric book. I did a sort of crazy patchwork effect on this one. I've got other ideas for the next 2 volumes. These hearts. Oh, who was it sent me these? So it's such a long time ago now. Oh, I had so many lovely pieces. I can't remember. Let me know in the comments if you're watching. Who was it sent me these beautiful hearts and some other things as well? Who was it? That's really awful that I can't remember. But anyway. Beautiful. I know I said thank you at the time, and I mentioned I was going to use them for this. So, and yeah, I've just done I've just put different patches of scraps and things together. I've done a little bit of decorative darning there for no particular reason. Yeah. So this is the bit I'm still working on now. This is my sort of inside page. This is the bit I've started on. I didn't bring the bit of paper out with me. I just scribbled this out on a bit of paper with a heat erasable pen. And then traced it off. I just sort of did it by hand, so you can see that the letters are crooked and things, but I quite like that. So I'm just going to gradually just take my time and use some different stitches to do this, and all different colour threads, sort of similar colours to what I've used there. Just do that inside page, and then this is what I've done. I have shown some of this before, so you might want to whiz through this bit if you've seen it before. So what I decided was to just use plain calico for each page, to kind of really, I wanted the attention to be on the squares. So for each of the squares I've attached usually at the top, or in some cases I might put them at the side, just because I want to be able to lift up and see the back, because it was a whole thing. I always wanted to see the messy back sides when I opened these. It brings it all back looking at this now, the joy, the excitement of and the emotion every time I opened one of these little packages where people had sent me a square they'd made. It's just the most amazing feeling. It's such a lovely way to connect with a fellow stitcher, and yeah, what an experience. I'll never forget those first couple of swaps, and the friends that I made through all of this. It was very tactile. So this one was by Kate. I wanted to embroider the person's name on each one. So after this one with Kate, I decided that I'm going to put the names underneath the squares for each of them. So I think Kate's is the only one that's actually outside like that. And for each one I wanted to do some stitching around that somehow reflected the work in the square, be it the colours, the stitches they'd used, the techniques they'd used, or whatever. So that's what I've done here. I've picked up the colours in this one. This one was by Lisa. This is Lisa Page. Again, picked up the colours. I put those together because obviously they kind of complement each other. Love the texture of this. It feels amazing. And then I've echoed what Lisa's done with the embroidering of the flowers. I just put some little sprigs of flowers. Was this Leslie? Yeah, this is Leslie. I think Leslie's in Australia, and I loved these concentric circles she's stitched, so I carried them out into the background page, embroidered the name around that. Picked up the same colours again as well. This is Lucy, I think. Yeah, Lucy. Loved this little motif that Lucy used, so I copied that, and I've used that a few times since as well. And you see there, I've done that texture there. I've actually taken from here. That's the thing with it, you get so many ideas from these squares that other people send you. Angie in the States, obviously. Love this little enamel pin, little enamel charm that she's put on there. I love this beautiful choice of gorgeous print fabrics and straight stitching. Oh, can't beat that, can't beat it. So I just carried that on all around it as well. And Angie is there. Heidi Hollands, I think she's in the UK. I'm trying to remember where everybody was now. Again, similar idea with patching the fabrics here, and then she's stitched into, I love the rainbow variegated thread she's used here. And actually, is it variegated or has she changed the thread every time? No, I think it's variegated. You can see the colour changing. Yeah, beautiful arrangement of fabrics pieced onto here, and then she's stitched into the pattern in the fabric. Love that, love it. Cute little wooden buttons, and there's this button's actually broken, and I've still got the other half of that button. I need to go in there. I was going to do like a visible mend on it, just because I thought that would be cute. Love it, and just echoed the rainbow straight stitching in the background. Michelle Askew, there were a couple of Michelles. I can't remember which Michelle is which. Michelle Rhea, that must be Michelle Askew. I loved this monogram that she did here. How beautiful. And it's so neat. I saw that side first and thought it was the right side. Beautiful chain stitching there, which I've echoed in here. And she's done lots of little seed stitching here. I don't even know if you'll see. I want to bring it down a little bit. She's done seed stitching all over here, tiny seed stitching, beautiful neat French dots, the neatest French knots, not dots, knots around here. She's stitched around this pattern. It's so neatly done you almost can't see it until you start looking. All of this is textured with all the stitching that she's done. So satin stitch there, French knots around there, lots of seed stitching. It's beautifully done monogram. She's stitched all around this piece, all into here. So I've done a whole lot of little seed stitching here. It took me blimmin' ages, that did. But again, it just feels lovely. It's really worth it. Oh, it looks like I've used a variegated thread there. And then I've done some flowers here with lots of French knots to reflect what Michelle's done. And look at this one. This is really different. The layer of organza. Beautiful layers. There's more than one layer there, I think. Lovely sweet little beads. Oh, it's just so pretty. All these beaded flowers here, little scraps of pretty lace, and then she's done this whipped stitch around here to make a lovely border, and I've sort of done a pretty border there as well to reflect that, and the flowers and Michelle. So it's, yeah, I wanted each page to kind of echo what had been done in the square but not detract from it, so that the square itself is still the focal point, and I hope I've managed to do that. And the great thing was about spending time working around inspired by what was in the square was that it really made me look at each square all over again and enjoy it all over again. It's lovely doing this. I can't wait to get back to the next 2 volumes now. I need to put some of my other projects on one side and finish this now before the next swap starts. This one's from Deb. I think this is Deb Wrigley, because she said about putting pearly. She's got a thing about pearly buttons, in that she doesn't like them. She really has a phobia about them, so it was quite something to include them on there. Beautiful seed stitching on here. I love little houses. I put these together because they obviously complement each other, being the houses. Love the button sun, so sweet. Lots of seed stitching around Deb there to reflect this, and obviously you can see. This is Nancy. Oh no, I've added some sequins here because there's sequins in this gorgeous tree, sequins and buttons making up that tree. Again, lots of lovely seed stitching to create the grass. I love using the different colours of green. It looks so effective. I don't know if that's one variegated, so I think she's used 3 different threads to do that, the look of it. And I've done a bit in the corner there. Again, picked up the colours. Debbie. No, I can't remember Debbie's surname. Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Absolutely beautiful. This is so delicate. Can you see that word there? It's just done in one strand of cotton, so delicately, beautifully done, and a really fine stitch all around these butterflies. They almost look like they must have been glued on or something, because you can hardly see the stitches on your first look, and then you see that they are there. And again, absolutely covered in this gorgeous seed stitch. Can you see that? If I hold it up really close, hang on. So you almost couldn't see it on camera unless I pointed it out. It feels gorgeous, and in real life you can see all that texture. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And I loved the way she stitched the butterfly trails, so I carried them out into the page and across here, and picked up some of the seed stitching again. Diane, Diane's in Canada, I believe. Gorgeous. Oh yes, look. Little clue. The cards and things I've kept separately to make a little scrapbook with. Lovely, you've got the texture on there. Lovely pieces of old lace. And there's some fibre under there that she's used to create the nest effect with. So gorgeous. And I think of this, I don't know if it's meant to be a button moon, but to me that's a button moon. It's all twinkly and magical. Stars, French knots for stars. She's cosy in her nest and it's night time. That's how I see it anyway. This is Sylvia in the UK. I think this is the very first square I received, if I remember right. Hang on. Or was it Snoppies? They were both the early ones for sure. I love this. The flowers coming out of his antlers. So much work in that. Look at all that stitching. And she knows I love my daisies. You can see how much I keep feeling it because they are so tactile. Lovely. I also have to look at the messy backsides too. This is what I need to, I definitely need to have them be able to flap up. Sylvia. I did some similar, I've kind of echoed the embroidery that Sylvia's done there. So here Sylvia's mounted it on an extra piece. So they were 10 centimetres or 4 inches square, but the idea was to add another centimetre all around, just to give whoever receives it the option of being able to either turn under to mount onto something, or stitch together if they're making a quilt out of it, or whatever they want to be doing, or just be able to put it in a little frame, whatever they're. Lots of different people did lots of different things with their squares, but just having that little bit of space around just gives you the options. I don't know, other people have, so Diane's done the same thing there. Everybody's done it in different ways. I mean, there's no reason why it can't just be like that. You've got it still in the same fabric. You don't need to mount it on another piece of fabric, but just don't bother carrying your work all the way out. Your work only needs to cover a 10 centimetre square. So that's a good example of that. That area is covering 10 centimetres, but you've got a spare edge around it. This one was Snoppy Karen. Absolutely gorgeous. So she's Snoopy. So there's a long story why she's Snoppy, not Snoopy. And but she did little Snoopy characters in all of her squares. Look at the stitching in this. So beautifully done. Like every single square that I opened, I cried. You just can't help yourself. It's such an emotional experience. But if you've not done the swap yet, you won't know what an amazing feeling it is yet. Snoppy. Oh, I haven't got rid of my heat erasable pen there, look. So here, you can see I just kind of copied the stitching that Karen had done there. And, created my own, extended the garden out into the page a little bit. Oh, now these are both from the same person, Pat, in Australia. I love that she did. I was doing a lot of Kawandi stitching at the time. I love that she sent me a little mini Kawandi, and she even sent the little fuller, the little triangles for the corners. I thought that was so adorable. So she sent them separately in the envelope so I could stitch them on. So obviously they went into the book. Love that. And this is from Pat also, and Pat sent me some other lovely stuff. It might have been Pat who made these that I've used on the front. So you, Pat, if you're watching this, let me know. So it sounds awful that I can't remember, but I've been obviously absolutely spoilt rotten over the months and years, especially since doing this one. I've been sent so much stuff I can't remember now who sent which sometimes. So in this one you can see I've picked up this herringbone stitch that Pat has done there and there all around this piece. It's cross stitch here. Love this pleated piece, blanket stitch there. So I've just echoed some of the stitches that Pat has used herself and picked up the colours again. Also, I haven't embroidered Pat's name, but I've done it there. Obviously decided that was enough. See, Pat did send me some of these extra pieces, which is what I'm thinking maybe it was Pat that sent me the ones I've used on the front. So gorgeous. They're all very different, aren't they? This is Hazel. I can see why I put these together. So this one isn't Pat, this is Hazel. Made with love. all of these squares were made with love. It's just been, yeah, such a joy all the way through. It's given me warm, cosy, warm, snuggly feelings now just looking at them all again. So this is Sue Bulford. We've got a lot of Sues in our community. This is Sue Bulford. Beautifully done French knots there. Lovely piece of lace. Look at this. And I love these. I copied this somewhere. It's like a detached Y stitch with a bead at the top of each prong of the Y. Cross stitches at the top here. Cross stitch in the fringe down. Look. You can see I've had a go at copying this here, but I've not used bees. I've used French knots at the top. Yeah, really enjoyed playing with that stitch. So when I get stuck for ideas, I will come back to this book and the other 2 books full. I'll go to the gallery as well. And I'm never going to be stuck for ideas. Yeah, so I've picked up some of the ideas that Sue's included. I love using the little bits of selvage. It's such a fun thing to add to your squares. Done a chain stitch kind of sort of organic shape. They're sort of a bit of a flower or something, I suppose. Just echoing the shape of the beautiful piece of lace there. Got my hair everywhere. Little sprig of flower coming out here. This is Mary. Mary's in Brunei. I didn't swap with anyone else in Brunei. I don't know if we have anyone else over there. It took a while for our squares to reach each other, but it was well worth the wait. How beautiful is this? Look at the work in it. I loved this, where she's done this kind of straight stitched flower shape in the background behind the cage there. So I carried that out into the page too. Took a while, but it was very fun to do. And this is a pliqued felt, this cage shape. And then she's added these beautiful sprigs of flowers to it. Little pairs of seed stitching here. I love the idea of doing seed stitching, but doing them in pairs like that. I'd never thought of it. Let's just see if I can show you. Never thought of doing that. So what I did then was add some to the background here, and I actually came over onto the square and stitched into the square myself as well. Beautiful, absolute massive embroidery here, all very tactile. So yeah, I just carried the little garden out. This was Rachel's first ever go at slow stitching. And Jen's squares over here, I put them together because Jen was very much encouraging Rachel to have a go, and she sent her a whole lot of goodies to get her going, and I think that's what Rachel's used here. Love these, look at these colours, look at all the texture. She's couched down this, she's crumpled up this piece and couched it down, which I love. This beautiful piece of cheesecloth, lots of different beads. It's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I've added some sequins there to reflect this. Done some couching and cross stitch like Rachel's done. You'll know Rachel as Arily if you're in our Discord community. And last but very much not least is Jen. Look at this, crunchy and delicious. There is no way, I know from past experience, that the camera, there's nowhere I can hold it that will do justice to the beauty of this. That's about the best I can do, but you need to have it in your hands in real life to fully appreciate this. I think with all the shine and texture, the camera just goes crazy and doesn't show it off properly. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's too tidy on the back though. And I think I just went with kind of random squiggle and added some sequins and lots of straight stitching for that one. And that brings me to the end. That's the last two, but I think I'm just going to leave those 2 pages at the moment. I might end up putting a little pocket in the back to just put some of the other bits and pieces that people sent, little stitched pieces that I haven't made space for, but I'll wait and see because some of them will go into the next 2 books. So, but I think a pocket there would be nice. I've got room. So I've gone on far longer than I intended to. I will probably have to whiz through that a little bit. So those are my squares from the first swap. I can't believe now it's actually only just over a year since we did the first swap, and it's just, as I say, taken on a life of its own since then. So to summarise, that's the Great Big Little Stitchery swap number 3, which has just finished on the 30th of June 2024. case anybody happens to be watching this later on. The next swap will be starting on the 1st of October, and the deadline to send your squares out for that will be the 31st of December. There's going to be an optional twist that you can choose to go with or not. When the time comes, you'll need to connect with people via the Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook or our free Discord community, which is called Arty Fartists. Links to those will be in my link tree if you click on it in the description box below. But please don't go looking for swapsters yet, because that will only confuse things. We need a little bit of a break now, and then in plenty of time, a few weeks before the new swap starts, I'll be back to let you know about the optional theme and what have you, and remind you about what you need to do if you want to join in. You'll have plenty of thinking time, I promise, but please don't like jump in and do it now, because it all gets a bit muddled and few, you know, people who are only just joining and don't know what it's all about, it gets really confusing. And yeah, I will definitely be joining in with the next one, so anybody that I've said no to before, sorry, I'm not taking any swaps, I'll be up for swapping next time. Don't forget to send me pictures of your swaps that you've made. You will, if you go to the link tree, you will find my email there. Please send them to me by email. You can, if you want to, send them by Facebook or Discord, but I can't guarantee that I'm going to pick them up there. It's easier for me if you can send them to the email, please. It's just easier to keep track of everything. So yeah, it's not too late. Even if you're watching this retrospectively and the gallery's already gone live, it will go live at the end of this month, so 31st of July the gallery will go live. I'll put links to both the previous galleries as well. But yes, if you're watching this a bit later on, it's not too late. You can still send me pictures of your squares. Just tell me which swap you made them for, and I can still add it to any of the swap galleries. So it might be that somebody might be watching this who took pictures of all their squares just for posterity, but didn't realise I was supposed to send them. So you can still send them now, whichever. Just let me know which swap it was for. Tell me what name you want displayed in the gallery. Doesn't have to be your full name or your real name. And if you've got a link to Instagram or whatever, you can tell me that and I'll add that as well. And also tell me which country you're in, so I can put you in the right group. So that's it. I hope everybody who joined in this time, whether it was your first swap or your third swap, I hope you had a good time. I did feel a bit left out this time, but you just can't, sometimes you just got to pick and choose what you're going to do. You haven't got time for everything. I'm really looking forward to joining in with the next one though. One more thing before I go, we've got our live stream Saturday night in coming up this Saturday. So this Saturday, 6th of July, we start at 8 p.m. UK time and we go on till about 10 p.m. There will be a little giveaway for those of you who are slow stitchers. I've got a pack of fabrics for your slow stitching, might be handy for the next round of swaps. So I've got one of those to give away, so watch this space for more details about that. Also watch the Facebook group and Discord community. If you haven't yet joined our community, please do feel free to go ahead. It's all free. It's too soon to start looking for swapsters, but if you want to join in with the next swap, if you join the groups now, you'll be all comfortable and know where you are and start to get to know everybody before the swap starts. So I would say go ahead and join now. Just don't start looking for swaps yet. I know I keep saying it, but it can get a bit chaotic. Okay, I'm really going to stop waffling on and get going now. Have a lovely week, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that muddly video and that little peek at my beautiful swaps. Thanks very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.